I create a lot of content around speakers, and I do it because number one, it's a passion of mine. I really love doing it, and number two is, I could do all this stuff myself and keep all this data for myself, but I like to share with you guys. And in doing so, I appreciate the feedback that I get, about, hey, what this one person's looking for, or maybe this person enjoyed this aspect of a review, and, just various things that come along with having these quote unquote discussions, if you will, about speakers and their performance. But I was actually thinking the other night, what I haven't done is I haven't stopped to take the time to really discuss, at least in a while, that speakers are more than just their performance. And that's not to say that measurements don't matter. That's not at all what I'm saying. I want to be clear about that. Measurements absolutely matter. That is kind of the compass toward, what's a good design, what's not a good design. And if you're comparing things just on a comparative basis, if for nothing else, then you can say objectively, speaker A sounds brighter than speaker B because the treble is rising. And that's it. That's all you need to know. Now, when you want to talk about preference, that's fine. That we can put that to the side. And I say that, but then I'm actually basically about to pull back in and say, well, what is it about speakers that you're interested in? And for me, it's not so much just about the sound. It's how are you using these things? When I review a speaker like this one over my shoulder, which is a Wharfdale Aura 2, that's a really nice looking speaker and it sounds really good. Can you get a speaker that sounds as good for less money? Yes. Will it look as good? Heck no. I think these speakers are $2,500 a pair. Now, in my opinion, that's actually a good price, especially when you consider the finish that you get. But having said that, someone could easily, no, I won't say easily, somebody could DIY a speaker for maybe $1,000 that mimics the sound. Or let's just say the easiest scenario is you want to rebuild that exact same thing, but in a cheaper cabinet, you could probably do it and save yourself a good bit of money. The finish is going to cost you money. So finish, looks, aesthetics, those things factor in. Do you get excited about a gloss finish? Do you get excited about a satin, a vinyl finish? Do you care that a speaker is kind of looks cheap as long as it sounds good? Or do you want something that you can, I'm not even going to say show off because you don't have to show it off, but just something that you can look at and be like, man, that's a good looking speaker. Some of you who are married will need to buy a speaker or, a speaker or electronics that look good. They don't, they don't look like it's something that you DIY'd in 30 minutes and you slapped together and you didn't even bother to sand off the glue spots. Okay, let's just be real. But then again, some of you don't care. That's what spray bed liner is for. You just spray the speaker flat black and you're done. I've done that countless times. The other thing is, how are you going to be using the speaker? In the measurements, I've recently discussed a couple different speaker designs where they are designed to be placed in a certain location, maybe near a wall, for example. Other speakers are designed to where if you place them near a wall, they wouldn't sound nearly as good. So you have to bring them out at least 3 feet from the back of the speaker off the wall, at least 3 feet. Now, I'm going to guess that the majority of you who are watching my channel, you probably don't have that kind of space available to do that. And that kind of leaves you in a little bit of a lurch. Okay, well, what speakers can I buy? Well, that's what we look at the data for. And we find where reasonable compromises can be made. Can this speaker be put up against a wall? And can it be made to sound good in that position? Or an easy alternative is DSP. You can put the speaker near a wall and you can use some DSP to bring down the bass. Now, what you can't fix is you cannot fix the reflection from that wall back to the front of the speaker. That basically cancels out and causes a null in the mid range. So that's another thing that you got to factor in. But that's getting a little bit too deep for this video. I'm not really wanting to go down that rabbit hole for this video. Do you need an all-in-one solution? Do you want a powered active speaker that takes the place of bookshelf mains or flower? That would be tower, and floor stander. From now on, new category speakers, flower speakers, floor stander and tower speakers combined. Flower speakers. No, seriously. Do you need, I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to call it flower speakers. Do you need flower speakers? I'm cracking myself up. It's ridiculous. And a subwoofer, because really, the majority of flower speakers, tower speakers, still need a subwoofer. I mean, they might get down to 40 hertz, but you're not getting now much more below that. And if you're using home theater stuff, then you still need a subwoofer to get you down to 30, maybe even 20. So you can look at something like the KEF LS60, which I've recently reviewed, which really truly is an all-in-one solution. It is SPL limited to some degree, depending on how far away you are going to be. But I think for most people, it's probably going to be adequate in terms of output capability. And then you've got an all-in-one solution. It's about $5,000 on sale right now. I think the price is about to go back up to $7,000 per pair, which is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But it's got everything you need. You just need some power cords, and for the most part, you're done. You don't necessarily even have to have any other cables. I mean, HDMI, you can hook it up to that, but alternatively, you can just wirelessly transmit everything into it via Spotify or Apple AirPlay 2, those kind of things. While I'm creating all this content, those questions are kicking around in the back of my mind. I mean, it's like, you know, I'm producing content for things that I know that you are interested in and things that most of the time I'm interested in. There are some cases where it's something that, frankly, I'm just not interested in, but I've gotten enough requests for it to where I think, yeah, I'm going to review that. I'm going to do something that the community is really going to appreciate, even though I'm not that excited about it. But luckily, most of the time, there's a lot of overlap to where if I'm excited about it, you guys are, or vice versa. Y'all are excited about it. I'm excited about it too. So that leaves me with that question of, what do you want out of a speaker? So I'm asking you, seriously, I'm asking you right now, and I want you to reply in the comments. If you can, try to be succinct, because I will read them all, and I can't guarantee that I'm going to reply to every single one of them because my holiday season is over. I'm going back to work this week, and I'm not going to have that kind of time. But I still want to be able to read and kind of get a feel for the things that matter to you. How much do you weigh looks? And this is going to be individual. So this is why I'm asking you to let me know. How much do you weigh looks? How much do you weigh the sound? How much do you weigh connectivity? Do you need something that, let's talk about just passive speakers. Let's go down that rabbit hole just a tad. Do you need something that has higher sensitivity and you're willing to trade off bass for that because you know that you're going to run a subwoofer? Or do you prefer something in your situation that will allow you to have lower frequency extension while sacrificing sensitivity? Maybe you don't plan to listen as loud, so sensitivity, amplifier power, those things combined aren't necessarily a big deal to you. The question that I have for myself, or when I should say, I'm sorry, when I ask myself that question, it's tough. And I get questions about what would I choose. And I've got a video talking about my favorite speakers that I've reviewed so far. It's not the ones that I've just seen, but it's the ones that I've actually had hands on and listened to myself. And they range all over the place. You know, that's, let's see here. There's a JBL 4367, which is a big, it's not quite a floor stander, but it sure as heck ain't a bookshelf. There's the Dutch & Dutch 8C, which is, I would consider like a large bookshelf. Then there's the Revell F226BE, which is a floor standing speaker. I can't remember the other ones. Oh, the Wharfdale Linton 85. That's a great speaker as well. Not a floor standing speaker, would have to go on a stand. But the point is that they range. Their purposes, I shouldn't say their purposes. Their sound is all a little bit different. Some things I like about one, I may not like about another because another one just doesn't have it, or vice versa. They all look a little bit different, and I like them all for different reasons. And so for me, there's really not a single speaker that I would say if I had that speaker, I would never go shopping for another speaker again. There are a couple that might get me close, but realistically, I know me, there's something about speakers that excite me and make me want to try more and more things. And I'm luckily in a position, you know, using my format also allows me to play around with toys, which I know you all don't have. So I take that to heart when I do a review, and I try to be honest with you and say, hey, if it's me, I'm not buying the speaker and here's why. Or, hey, if it's me, I like the speaker, let me explain why. And then I'll leave it up to you. You can either take my word for it as far as my subjective opinion goes, or if you know how to look at the data, you can just look at the data and you don't have to listen to anything I say. My data is always on my website, aaronsaudiocorner.com. It's just a data repository. Go look it up. You don't even have to see my face. I do not take lightly what I'm doing here. And that's getting back to this is why I'm asking you, what is it that you look forward to when you see a speaker? When you're shopping for a speaker, are you looking for looks? Are you looking for sound? Where's that balance for you? Give me your honest feedback about what it is that you look for in a speaker. Or if you're just watching this because it's a hobby for you, you like speakers, you like learning new stuff, you like seeing what's out there, 100% on board with you. I would do that too if I were in your position. I just don't have the luxury of time. And frankly, when I'm not doing my own channel, I'm trying to just not think about doing this. I just go off and try to do other things. I don't really watch anybody else's channel. And there's a few reasons for that, but that's one of the reasons. So I'm going to end it there. Let me know what you think, what it is that you put on the top of your list, or if it's a three-way tie with multiple things, or if it just depends and you don't always go looking for the same things. I really am curious to know. That might help kind of shape the direction I go with my reviews. If I have a feeling that people are really more interested in looks than I think they are, then maybe I'll spend a little bit more time talking about the looks or something like that. Because right now, I'm just showing a quick video of the speaker from the outside just so you can see what it looks like. I'll cover the manufacturer spec in a really short clip, and then I'll just start talking about my end of things. There's no point in me spending 5 minutes literally reading you the manufacturer specifications, because I've seen people do that, and I'm like, that's a waste of time. There's no efficiency there. And as somebody who values efficiency, even with ADHD, I don't want to waste your time in that regard. You can just pull up the website and get the specs if you need to. So I will end it there. I will talk to you all later. Take care.